All Age Media is proud to present The Week Before, a show that encourages discussion, knowledge, and a bit of banter in between. Now presenting Jamie Dyer with this week's special guest.
This week I am joined on the phone by a man who is Nathan by day and a cowboy hat wearing singer-songwriter by the name of Black Vendetta by night. There is no punchline, that is the truth. Hello, Nathan.
Hiya.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. How's the music coming along?
It's going quite well. I've just turned 24, though, so there's a bit of increased urgency in wanting to get things done. I'm starting to feel my age, but apart from that, yeah, I can't really complain.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Have you got any new material coming up and gigs and things?
Yeah, we're not gigs as such, more open mic nights, but yeah, we're currently working on, we're kind of getting our album together. We've got a couple of new songs.
Well, there you go. It all helps to build it up, doesn't it?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Time for the first round, which is the discussion. This week, as we have a musical guest with us, it's a musical topic, the subject of comebacks. Kate Bush, the big reunion, even take that. Loads of retro acts have come back after years of being away, basically. And is it really a sure thing to come back, or is it basically fueled by nostalgia? What's your thoughts, Nathan?
Well, my thoughts are the reasons tend to vary, don't they? I think in Kate Bush's case, it was a great thing because she, what was it, her first live gigs in
for like
35, God knows how many years?
Yeah, 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just someone who I get the impression does it when she's feeling ready, whereas in the case of Take That, you could kind of tell it was more about the money, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I think as well, maybe settling demons, maybe, as well.
Yeah.
Always depends, but obviously within the last week, I mean, this is called The Week Before, we sometimes refer to news events and things, but within the last week or so, Jason Orange has left Take That. I mean, does that have much significance?
Well, yes and no, I suppose. I suppose if there's any such thing as Take That purists, then I suppose it will make a difference, but he wasn't exactly the front man, was he? No. I mean, a lot of these bands do have, people leave after a while. Does that mean that that's not the band anymore? Do you know what I mean? Well, there's a few. Well, you could always take the example of Guns N' Roses, couldn't you? Unless you count the keyboardist, the only surviving original member is Axl Rose. But I personally thought Chinese Democracy was a really good album. Oh, exactly, yeah. But, I mean, do you agree? A lot of people disagree with that, but, well, maybe can't please everyone. Maybe so. I mean, do you agree with the fact that maybe, say, someone leaves a band and then someone else joins it? Is that still the same band? It depends what the person who left really brought to the band. Red Hot Chili Peppers, for example, because John Frusciante left, didn't he? They've got a new guitarist now. I don't know. I went to see them, actually, and they were really good. But it's, I don't know. I think if a member really contributes something, then there's gonna be something, isn't there? Something missing when they make a new record or go on tour again. But definitely roll with the times, as it were. Definitely, and I think when these artists do come back, they obviously try and evolve their sound in a way. I mean, if you think about Take That example, I was speaking to people who, were around when they sort of came back and they were going, I didn't like them the first time round, but now they seem to have matured, and it kind of... Do you know what? Although I say they did quite clearly do it, because apart from for Robbie Williams, which was quite obvious in the fact that at first he was the only one who didn't come back, nothing had worked out for the rest of them, so it's just like almost as if they gathered round like, okay, I think the world's ready for us again, sort of thing. Like, just pretending that. But when they came back, it was like, I didn't like any of the songs they did in their first round of things. But when they came back, it was almost like, okay, these are actually proper songs, and some of them are really good. So yeah, definitely the way they're written. I suppose that's a maturing process as well. Well, yeah, they were all men when they came back, weren't they? As opposed to silly spandex wearing boys or whatever they were before. Well, yeah. I mean, can I ask about what age were you when you first wrote your first song? I think when I first sat down to write a decent one, I was about 17.
Yeah, and if you
look... Well, I say a decent one. Obviously, it's open to interpretation, and I think...
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, if you look at that song now, do you still think it's a good song, or do you think you've matured and something else has come out?
I keep making little changes to things as I listen to them down the years, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, well, when I was first writing songs, I think I was about 14, 15, something like that. And at the time, you know, all your hormones, you're going through puberty, you kind of, you almost kind of think, oh, God, I'm a fucking genius when you write something. And then when you listen to it back just a few months later, when you've matured a little bit, you're just like, God, what the bloody hell was I thinking? It's absolutely dreadful.
Oh, exactly.
Self-indulgent nonsense.
No, you do get moments like that, and I think some comebacks as well. I mean, some people would say the whole Kate Bush example was good because she hadn't performed in so long, but others would say when they came back, would you say it was self-indulgent in a way to do something like that?
Well, I would say all artists are pretty self-indulgent. Well, the vast majority of them anyway. There's always going to be an element of that, I would think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll give an example. I'll give a personal example actually. When Status Quo reunited last year with the original lineup, they played nothing at their concerts apart from Pre-'76, which was mainly kind of album tracks and things. And you know, while the fans thought that was amazing, you know, a lot of kind of you know, what can you call them? Casual
goers.
Yeah, casual goers sort of came out going, where was this? Where was that? Where was something else? I mean, in a way that was good because obviously they're not going to play things that they weren't playing on in the first place. But do you think maybe in a band context, if members do come back, no matter what the band is, do you think they should stick in their own era, or do you think maybe they should have said, you know, our fan base has widened since then and we've done more, let's sit down and try and work it out?
Well, if you're a big band and if you've got enough, you know, public interest, then surely you're going to have enough of a set to be able to please everyone. Like play, I don't know, some of the more obscure ones to please the hardcore fans, but play all the big hits, if you know what I mean, to please the others, or you know what I mean. Yeah,
I do. I mean, I think the other big thing.
If you got like what a 2.5 hour set, or maybe even 1.5 hours, you can, what is it, like 4 minutes a song? You can quite easily fit enough in there to please everyone, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. But I think it also depends on the musician, maybe who's been replaced. I mean, if you think about singers, if you think about maybe AC/DC and people like that, when they've come back, you know that Brian Johnson's basically singing. Maybe the first half of the set is stuff that Bon Scott sang, but it doesn't really take away from it.
Yeah, true. Well, they've got very similar vocal styles, haven't they? So it's not necessarily as noticeable as if, well, like Paul Rodgers replacing Freddie Mercury in Queen, for example.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And Adam Lambert, of course.
Yeah, I kind of wish... Well, no, I don't wish, but I'd quite chuckle if Nirvana did a similar thing. Like, just get Paul Rodgers in to replace Kurt Cobain.
Well, I mean, they did... Didn't they do something with Paul McCartney recently? Someone did.
Probably. I probably didn't hear about that, but...
Yeah, it was random anyway. It was very weird. It was very weird indeed. Right, I think we're going to come to the end of that particular discussion because I think we've covered quite a large scope there. Right, so we're going to move on to round 2. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. I don't know what's going to happen here. This is called the You Tell Me round, where I'll give you 15 seconds to talk about a random subject. You can go any way you like, and this could absolutely be anything. And after 15 seconds, if I think you can talk a little bit more about it, I'll extend it. If not, then we'll move on to another subject. Have I explained that?
I think you have, yes.
I have explained that. Well, of course I did. Of course I did. Right, I've got my stopwatch here. I've got no sound effects, but I'll add that in post. Right, can you tell me, this could be an object, this could be a person, this could be an event. Can you tell me 15 seconds on washing powder? And I'll let you think about it for a second and go.
Right, I think washing powder is tremendous. I don't know anything beyond that except my mum uses incredible washing powder, probably, and my clothes are always clean.
And that's 15 seconds.
That wraps up pretty much everything I've got to say on the subject.
Yeah, that's 15 seconds. See, that's just the
Brilliant.
right time. Right,
I knew I could do it.
Yeah, let's have another one. Okay, so can you give me 15 seconds? This is plucked right out of the air. This is not written down. Can you give me 15 seconds on the vinyl record? That's the vinyl record, and go.
My dad still buys those. Actually, he dragged me into a record shop the other week where they were selling all sorts of classic vinyls and stuff. And I think he bought 3 or 4 of them. I don't know. In a way, it's
that's
kind of like I'd wish.
That's 15 seconds.
Oh, okay.
But I think I want to hear the rest of the story, so I'm gonna.
It wasn't that thrilling, but I can go on if you insist.
Okay, and that's another 15 seconds or so. So and go.
All right. No, I was just going to say I kind of wish I'd been around in that era because of the I don't know, the sort of thrill of getting a new vinyl record and looking at the sleeve and everything. But you know, with all the computers and stuff, I suppose it's more accessible. But yeah,
and there we are.
Something I feel I've missed out on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I agree with you. That's 30 seconds on that. You're pretty good at this, at doing that. But I give you.
I'm good at a lot of things, pal.
Yes, indeed. Right, I'll give you one more. I'll do one more for the fun of it. Anyway, can you give me 15 seconds on the recording process? That could be any kind of recording process. In fact, no, I'll give you 30 seconds on this because I know that you probably know a lot about this from your. So
okay.
That's 30 seconds on the recording process, starting now.
Half fun, half pain in the arse. I only needed 5, really. It can be frustrating, but and you can sort of almost slide into a state where you just want to get things done as quickly as possible. But it's it's something that you've got to pay attention to and know what works for you and stuff like that. But once you get that nailed down, you should be able to come up with some pretty good recordings.
And that's 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds.
Wonderful.
You probably only did need, 5 seconds for that. That's pretty easy. And I do agree with you, actually. It is a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Well, quite a lot of it is studio engineers. The thing is, you need to get one who doesn't have their own ego, but also knows what they're doing. Because you don't want someone to start telling you what your record should sound like. It's just sort of like, okay. I've thought about this for months. I know what it should sound like.
Oh, definitely. Just
do what I tell you, and there'll be no problems. Sort of thing.
It's a personal thing. Have you ever used a metronome, a click track?
Yes, we have actually.
Yeah, I don't like those because I
don't. They always. I mean, their function is to keep you in time, but they always seem to knock me out of time.
Oh yeah.
It's just like this isn't the beat of the song, and then I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh no, you get very engrossed in it.
Yeah. I know where you're coming from there.
You get very engrossed with it. Right, that's the end of round 2 there. I thought that went quite well, actually. Talking about random subjects. 1 random subject, really, and 2 that you might have known about. Right, so we're going to have the final round here. This is round 3, and it's called What's on Your Mind? Well, it's self-explanatory, isn't it? So, Nathan, what's on your mind right now?
What's at the moment are the ravages of time. 24 years old now.
Oh yeah, because it was your birthday yesterday, yes?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. It wasn't exactly the most thrilling birthday either, because obviously being on a Monday, and obviously everyone's either at work or has got stuff in the morning. It's just, and the most entertaining aspect of it was a curry, which later on proved to be a mistake, if I'm honest. We won't go into any further details there.
Oh, of course, no, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Yeah, just... But, it's, I don't know, just a feeling that I think this is the first birthday I've had where I actually feel like I'm getting old, and I need to, if I want to achieve the stuff I want to achieve in my mortal time on this earth, I really need to maybe think about getting a move on, really.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I'm 25 in a couple of months, and I have exactly the same thoughts and feelings. So, you know,
Yeah, it's kind of like, have I passed the age where someone could kind of call me kid, if you know what I mean, an older man, or am I, like a proper adult now? Or should I be, at least?
Oh, don't worry. I think some people grow up and some people just stay the same for years and years. I mean, I talk to people of age, of about 15, 16, and it's like you're talking a different language.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But also, worryingly, you can talk to people that age and kind of feel you're on pretty much exactly the same wavelength, and it's just sort of like, okay, what have I actually done with my life in that extra decade that I've gone? It's just...
Yeah, it's weird, but I do wish you luck with it, because I know I have played with music for many years now, and I think it's great. And everybody has that creative spark. There's always an audience out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it takes a while, and obviously it's easier now because of social media and other bits and pieces that are around.
Yeah.
And
on a similar note to that, you can just kind of get lost in the whole social media maze rather than just kind of focusing on exactly knowing what you need to do in order to kind of promote yourself and stuff.
Yeah, I think some people think, actually, speaking quite frankly, some people think, I'm on social media, so therefore I'm going to explode, and that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, that's not how it works, no matter how good you are.
No, you have to be very proactive with a lot of things, other than that,
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really more to say about that, but as for age, I think every year you have kind of a different thought. That's your thought for the year.
Yeah.
But as I say, it all changes over time, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, on the plus side, by this age, my granddad was pretty much bald, and he's the granddad I was supposed to inherit the gene off, and I've still got a full head of hair, so it's like I've dodged that particular bullet.
Yeah, I've always wondered, actually, do you still wear the cowboy hat and stuff on stage?
Of course I do.
Oh, of course, it's an image thing.
I'm wanting to get a more flamboyant one. Those hats the witchfinders wore in the can't remember what century it was, but during the witch hunt. So I really want one of those.
Well, it's a slight adjustment to the image, but it might just catch on.
Well. If I make it big, of course it will catch on.
Well, yeah.
Won't be able to move for kids wearing those hats up and down the land.
Yeah, I do find, actually, when a lot of singers do that sort of thing, or a company has sort of an image and they refer to something else, a lot of kids and that don't really know where things come from.
Exactly.
I don't know whether you've ever seen those kids react videos where they look at old technology, and I know one time they looked at the Nintendo NES, and the girl said, "Oh, I've never seen one of these before, but I've got a bag that looks just like it."
Yeah.
Didn't even know what it was.
It kind of worries me that maybe many kids in a few years will be like that with books.
Yeah. Actually, a quick note: what do you think of the whole Kindle thing, and the lack of books?
I don't really see I kind of see the point to an extent, but I don't like the adverts where they make out like where they're talking about how special it is, how they can get into this story and all the rest of it. It's just sort of like, well, that's nothing you couldn't do with books, really, if you could just be bothered.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, it's not like just because of the invention of the Kindle, all of a sudden fictitious stories have become interesting. I mean, I could get quite easily engrossed in a story without some beaming light shining up at me for an electronic tablet type thing.
Yeah, I don't think Kindles have lights in them, do they?
Well, I know one of the big things they go on about, which is possibly the only thing that would tempt me into looking into one, is the fact that no matter what direction the sun's shining on them, you can still read it.
The paperwhite,
Yeah, because I'm sure you've been in a position where, I don't know, you're reading a book on a beach or something, and the sun's shining directly over your shoulder, and it's just like, what does that say?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's like trying to use a phone, in direct sunlight.
Yeah, that.
And it's awful. It's like playing a Game Boy years ago and not being able to see what you're doing.
Oh, I never had a Game Boy. I think I missed out. But enough about my deprived and tragic childhood.
No, so so this is the week before. What's in the week ahead for you?
Quite busy actually. I think more recording. I've got a pool match on Thursday, and generally just pissing about, really. Yeah,
do you play much pool? And I do sometimes get messages from you like, I'd just been at a pool tournament.
Yeah, I do play quite a bit. Not playing that well at the moment, but I'm determined to turn it round.
Don't take this the wrong way, but when you play, do you have some drink aid as well?
Yes.
Simple answer. Yeah, very simple answer. I'm not going to ask any more about that subject. No, I'll ask. What do you drink?
Tends to be vodka actually, because that tends to, it not only settles your nerves, but it also kind of gives you a determination sort of thing.
Yeah, it gives.
I've tried it.
A bit of grit.
I think I tried it on wine once, and I just felt so tired while I wasn't at the table that I just completely lost interest in the match, basically. So probably avoid that in the future.
Yeah, well, that's you found a method that works for you, haven't you?
Yeah.
You found a method that works for you.
Maybe not the healthiest method, but it seems to be effective. So.
No, well, as they say, a glass of red wine or maybe even a glass of vodka a day helps you. I don't know.
Well, we're not talking a full bloody pint glass.
Of course not. No, no. What are they, shots?
No, just mixers, really.
Mixers. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, but there we go. I'm not familiar with that. On account that I don't really drink, so there we go. Don't get into a conversation about alcohol, Jamie. Don't do that. So we're going to reach the end, because we've reached the end of the show here, but thank you very much for coming on. Hopefully it's been a positive experience. Good luck with the music stuff as well.
Yeah, it's been quite fun, and thank you.
Indeed. Well, that's good. Well, thank you, Nathan. This has been the week before. Thank you very much for listening. And as Big D Zone would say, we are out.
You've been listening to The Week Before, a weekly recorded show presented by Jamie Dyer, with this week's special guest. The announcer was Katie Harvey, and this has been an all-age media production. Thank you for listening.